I was halfway through my son's roast chicken when the phone rang. The display read, "Mr. Khan, neighbor." My stomach tightened. I answered, casual, unaware of the storm waiting in his trembling voice. "Are you home?" "No," I said, calm, hiding the pulse in my throat. "I'm at my son's." A pause. Then a whisper that carried fear. Then, "Who is in your house right now?" The fork froze midway to my mouth. My son laughed at my sudden rigidity, eyes curious, unknowing. The sound barely registered. That call shattered the calm I had worked to maintain. It hadn't always been like this. I met him decades ago, a man charming, neighborly, a presence that made life simpler. I trusted him, let him in, shared spare keys, small favors, a friendship built on casual smiles and mutual respect. I didn't know betrayal could linger behind such ordinary gestures. It began subtly. Doors left unlocked that I never unlocked. Packages moved, lights on when I was certain I'd switched them off. My mind whispered possibilities, but the evidence wasn't concrete, just shadows. Shadows that whispered while I slept. The final proof came the night I left for my son's house and he called. The notes of fear in his voice weren't his. They belonged to my own home, the intruder inside. A man I thought harmless had crossed invisible boundaries. I didn't panic. I never panic. Panic invites mistakes. I observed, calculated. I traced his movements through subtle clues, the new tools in his garage, receipts I never expected him to have, the way he lingered in conversations, testing reactions. I devised a plan. Precision mattered. Revenge fueled by intelligence, not impulse. I couldn't just expose him. I had to let him unravel under his own hubris. Step 1. Isolation. I changed my routine, documented his movements discreetly, ensured every action I took remained invisible. Cameras, silent alarms, trusted neighbors in the loop, every detail noted. Step 2. Proof. Each transaction, each trespass, each lie captured and cataloged. Step 3. Confrontation. But not yet, not until every angle was secure. Weeks passed. I built the map of his arrogance, tracing patterns like a chess master. Every time he thought he was unseen, I was watching, waiting. Every attempt to cover his tracks only tightened the net. Then, dinner at my son's house. Coincidence? Perhaps. Or perhaps timing. Perfect timing. The phone rang. I answered. The whisper. My heart didn't leap. My mind did. Strategy activated. I spoke softly, controlled, leaving nothing to chance. "Who is in my house?" I didn't ask. I let him talk. His voice betrayed him. Fear, confusion. And when he tried to laugh it off, the evidence, my cameras, had already captured him entering, rifling through things he shouldn't have touched. I asked my son to call the police discreetly, timing coordinated. Within minutes, they arrived. My neighbor, the intruder, was caught mid-action, stunned, trying to explain, trying to twist reality. His own arrogance had convinced him he was untouchable. I watched, not with anger, but with satisfaction. Every step he had taken to invade my life now became his undoing. The very things he thought were secret, invisible, were now undeniable. The law, the cameras, the recordings, they spoke louder than his protests. When he finally saw me, not yelling, not dramatic, just standing calm and collected, the shock in his eyes was priceless. I didn't need to scream or accuse. The silence, the weight of what he'd done, and the inevitability of his downfall spoke for me. The aftermath was meticulous. Police reports filed, insurance alerted, neighbors informed, every document cross-checked, no loose ends. Justice wasn't a moment, it was a process, executed with precision. I reflected quietly that night, sitting alone in my reclaimed home. The betrayal had stung, yes, but the sting had been transformed into power. I hadn't just caught an intruder. I had asserted control over my life, restored boundaries, and demonstrated that deception, no matter how subtle, has consequences. I didn't revel in humiliation. My satisfaction was in the order restored, in the careful orchestration that turned fear into strategy, panic into control. The man who once seemed harmless now knew the weight of underestimating someone who watches, calculates, and waits. In the end, it wasn't about vengeance in anger. It was about justice in motion, and the quiet pride of knowing I had engineered it flawlessly. As I poured myself a glass of wine and looked out at the dimly lit streets, I realized the truth. The most dangerous weapon is patience paired with intelligence. And for the first time in months, I felt safe, unshaken, untouchable in my calm. He had laughed. My son had laughed. But the final laugh, silent, devastating, and precise, was mine. Because some lessons must be learned in full, and some betrayals require a hand guided by patience, precision, and quiet fury. And tonight, justice had been served.